Good morning. It's June 16th. The month is half over and I thought I'd show you what's happening in the garden. It's early morning and my voice has not been used much, so it might be a little scratchy. But yeah, zucchini, that's coming off today. It looks pretty amazing. We haven't gotten the dreaded squash borers yet, so I'm going to take what I can get. I was gifted a tomato plant, so it's a paste, which is what I asked for, and I've got to get that in the ground very soon. We harvested broccoli. See, that's a sprig that's growing from where the rest of it came off. It wasn't very big, but it had gotten to the point where if I didn't harvest it, it was going to go to seed. So probably that's on the menu for today. The myrtle's doing well. And the broccolis are doing quite well. We haven't gotten cabbage loopers yet. I suppose that's coming. Oh, there's a bee on the Veronica. The bees have finally come. I'm so pleased. That's a regular summer squash, or the shishito pepper is doing nicely. The only 3 of the blue cocoa beans that sprouted are well up the trellis now. That makes me very happy. I did plant a few more seeds just to see if I could get a little bit more, but if I don't, that's fine. I said 4 were enough for me to fill my freezer last winter. This one has 2 main stems growing up the vine, which is interesting. Went ahead and put this pot in, and I planted bitter melon, and it's going to take a while to germinate, so we're just going to let it see what happens. So there's white here, and then I did plant some in this other corner that's a green, a different variety. Again, we're just going to wait and see what happens. Could be nothing. The zinnias are doing well. They really do need to be separated. The cucumbers that I planted are doing nicely. I put on supports to catch them as they start to go over. The lettuce is doing well. We'll be having that for dinner this week. And the peas are starting to really come in. We've gotten enough to freeze and enough to eat. And these are really quite ripe here, some of these. Yeah, so I got to pick those this morning too. Got some busy stuff to do. This is yarrow. Hopefully it won't take over the whole bed. All right, so volunteer ground cherries, quite a few. I'm hoping that this is a Kajari melon. It's hard to tell at this point because it's not exactly where I put that one seed, but this is exactly where I put that seed. So I've got at least 1 Kajari melon, maybe 2, and a bunch of volunteer ground cherries. I probably should pull out all the little ones and just keep the big ones. Honeyberry's still doing well. Pepper's doing okay. None of these bell peppers are growing much, and that's quite annoying. Germander is blooming, and here are the strawberries. Looks like I'll be picking some of them today too. Yeah, a few. The problem, gotta get Japanese beetles. Got to get the traps out. So the problem with the strawberries, since they're so new, is that they just aren't producing that much. So I don't get enough on a day to make anything but, snacks. This is the biggest improvement to the garden right now. I finally got my rain barrel up. Thanks very much to our farm friend Linda. She and Tierney worked and had to come up with an ingenious plan to get the rain barrel attached to the house, but they did it. This French fillet beans are starting to just barely put on blossoms. I'm trying to decide if I'm going to put plant supports here or not. I may. They're getting pretty big, and I'm guessing when they start getting beans, they're going to start drooping over. The bush beans on the bottom are the free ones that Greenstock sent me with the order, and I don't know whether they're going to need supports or not. Maybe not. Spin this around so a different part gets sun today. That's the only, every day or so I turn them around. These look great. And here's the front flower bed. The echinacea is really going to town right now. So I've got some calla lilies under there. The bees love the sea holly. They're just covering it all the time. This is a zinnia that was a volunteer in the strawberries. I don't have any idea what color it's going to be. It looked pretty droopy, but it's starting to pick up, so I think it's going to be okay. The pin flowers and the Veronica that I thought had died have not. They've come back. Also, there's a seedling, or a couple of seedlings right next to the pin flower that every time I use my Picture This app on my phone to see what they are, it tells me something different. So I'm going to wait till they get a little bit bigger. I suspect they're Tithonia, but I'm not 100% sure. Here's the other calla lily. Here's the rue. Here's my rescue dogwood. And this is the Veronica that if you saw the last video, it looked like it was plumb dead, and we got that good hard rain and it came back, and I cut off all the damaged parts, and as you can see, it's growing. Instead of having one flower stem, it's got a bunch on every piece, so that'll be good. And here are the bees enjoying the sea holly. Probably my favorite part of the garden, just because I think it's so beautiful. With the white callas and the iridescent ball and the beautiful oak leaf hydrangea. And as the blossoms age, they turn pink, which I find really interesting, and they smell so good. So anyway, bee balm is blooming. Bees like that too. The Tithonia I thought I had killed is now like 18 inches tall, so clearly not dead. Yeah, lots of bees. That's a lantana. And finally, I'm pretty sure those are sunflowers that I planted. I was beginning to think we weren't ever going to get any, and we didn't get a lot. Well, maybe they'll still come in. And you'll see that I haven't planted the snapdragons from that pot in the back, and I'll explain that when we get out there. But and I'm still having an issue with grass. There's some more calla lilies, a pink one, and I'm wondering if this one isn't some kind of a hybrid between the white and the pink, but I don't know. It's pretty, whatever it is. Figs, and there are figs. Yay! There's some over here too. Yeah, gonna get figs. Yay! I love figs. All right, and here is my plant bench experiment. This is Okinawan pink okra, and that's Roselle, which is in the same family as okra, but it makes a tea. It has a flower that you make tea from. Nothing in this pot, which is supposed to also be Okinawan pink. This is the Jing orange okra. This nothing in the Tamarillo, and that's the other Jing orange okra. Hi, Kima. How you doing? Hey, pretty girl. You need to be brushed. Okay, so my leeks are going to seed, which means they need to be pulled out. But I pulled out one and it's really nothing. It's just a tiny little leek. Here's Mr. Artichoke. I planted some other stuff in here. Now I don't remember what, but I'm pretty sure that's nothing that I planted. That I think is dill, which I did plant in here. Nothing's coming up over there except grass. Well, keep waiting. And here are my volunteer tomatoes, which something needs to happen with them because they're indeterminate, which means they're going to get huge. So they need support. They also need to be separated. It'll just have to work on that. So the beets are doing well. I know the radishes don't look great, but it's because I've been pulling some of them. I've had some big old radishes. I'll try to incorporate that video. Yesterday I pulled one of the purple radishes and ate it, and it was hot. Look, I couldn't finish it. It was so hot. So this is, now see, here's the bell peppers. I mean, they look healthy. They're just not doing anything. They're not getting big. They're not putting on flowers. We'll just have to wait and see how that goes. The thyme is blooming. It's a great pollinator, attractor. Oregano is blooming. Good. I cut some of those blossoms and took them in the house for a vase. They were really actually quite pretty in the vase. All right, that's all there is out front. We'll have to go around to the back.